hungry.
Kids are hungry.
You're
Don't
over
you use them?
here
To be
ignoring
fair, they
them.
only got hungry like this morning.
Likely story.
All right, I guess we can get started. So, what are we showing you today? We're showing you today the Void Hunt Void Hunt's Mad Boar. Our like balance mode. We have like a special combat balance testing mode here, where we can select all stuff we want and change things and make heroes like super strong and super weak. The actual Void Hunt, which I can also show you here, is going to be in the tavern. So you can see this fella. He's already there, but now you can click him, and there you can see like the Mad Boar Hunt, which will, since it got asked in chat earlier, so the recommended level is 10 or higher. You can use heroes lower than level 10, but the boss will still be level 10. But if you use like, for example, level 12 heroes, the boss will skill up to level 12. So like the minimum level of the boss is 10, but you can still use like heroes below 10. Just it's recommended to use level 10 heroes. I said 10 a lot of times right now, but
It's level
you know
10,
what I
guys.
mean.
Level 10. God help you if you don't use level 10 here.
Yeah, and another thing, if you do try level 9, you also do lose out on the tier 4 skills, because you can access the tier 4 as soon as you get 10 skill points. So you would have to just deal with the fight without that, which can be pretty troublesome because those tier 4s are pretty useful. So
It's true. I forget because I get to choose every single ability when I play. So
you're a cheater and you
I'm a
choose
cheater.
the tier 5s with your level 10 guys.
It's testing in quotation marks.
All right, I'm gonna briefly explain this screen so you know what's here actually. Although you won't see the screen, this is just for our testing, just so you know what's happening here. So I can enter like any hero idea like my knight, and then you can see I can select these skills here, which I'm gonna do soon with your heroes that you want posted. And below you can see like the boars and the boar skills, and then just the battle now button. So that, let me check. I've got some
Yes, show
idea.
them this screen that they will never get to see. You guys will
Yeah.
never get to use this.
Yeah.
Right. This is just rubbing it in.
Yeah.
But I will say this is something that we didn't have before, which has been super useful for obviously for balance testing. We just need to be able to see what tweaks in what areas will do what thing. So I got this whipped up towards the beginning of when we started our balance testing and been super helpful.
Yep.
You're
Very much
welcome,
so. Thank you.
Sashay.
I mean, while we're talking, I can, I can, I can add some heroes. So I got a
Yeah.
priest from Kurt Hokage. Should we do him in middle position or back position?
Do it in the back? Or maybe
Yeah,
in, I don't know.
I
Depends
also
on what
do
skills you're using, I guess. But
do it in the back. Then we got an. Wait, you're confusing me. That's a knight by Big Ricky. And I got an archer by Mega. There we go. Oh, that's a strong archer. So since those aren't level 15 yet, we don't get to select like the tier 5 skills, which are only unlocked once you hit level 15. Since you're gonna use 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 points, which is leaves you as 10 points, so you need 5 more points for the tier 5. So I guess I just select some like my usual skills I like to use.
yeah, and I will mention that for those that have seen like the skill codexes for these classes, a lot has changed. We have been, adjusting a lot of numbers, and a few of the skills have been completely revamped. So we'll be, kind of probably do something like a blog and explain how much has changed and whatnot, and then release new codexes with the new numbers and everything. But we've been just focused on the level up to level 20 experience, so the 10 plus skills have not been touched, and those will need to be revamped as well, since the upgrade there, some of those are upgrades to these ones that were changed. So a little bit of a transition period, but there's really a lot of things that just in building this, figured out some of the formulas that we were using were not going to work out very well, or they had kind of a weird feel where at low levels it wasn't really doing much, and then at high levels it was doing too much. So a lot of what we did kind of recently was actually adjusting or completely changing the formula for multiple different things, like the way evasion is calculated, the way blocking is calculated, status effect resistance, and a few other things. Also, the accuracy formula has also been adjusted as well. So all of those things, most of those formulas are now more like how speed works. If you are familiar with that, if you dived into the math with me on those things, these are all those other things have all kind of changed to be similar. So if you have relatively high agility compared to all heroes of the same level, then you'll have relatively high evasion. And it's works more like that. So at low levels, you get the benefit of your high stuff, and it's not like, oh, once I get to level 100, it'll be great. No, it'll be great now, and it will always be great if you can keep your agility high, right? So I think that was a major improvement to the experience. And yeah, maybe I'm talking too much. Maybe you should get into this fight.
I'm sure there's
Yeah,
lots of people who want to hear the numbers.
You can still talk. Just what you're going to see now. So we did also a lot of front end rework, which makes the fight look quite a different than what you used from the combat testing ground. And with that, let me just check if I select. So there we go. Starting off right with Imis. So you can see like the fight would consist of 2 baby boars and the mama boar. And you can always see that the mama boar did a grunt, which buffs their whole team. And
Also
what
taunted your knight as well.
All right.
And you're
Oh,
bleeding
he got
too.
you.
And I'm bleeding too. Oh no.
This is rough.
Not the bleed. Trust me, the bleed is going to be your worst enemy. So you also see
Right.
like we have new fancy icons for our skills now. This is also new, I think. Yeah. Do you reposition? So
Reposition now.
you can swap positions with any hero now. It will use an action though, so be aware of that. And what you also may have spotted that you were talk. Explain what's this.
Oh yes, we did also add potion usage. However, right now it's just you get free potions in the fight. We haven't set up consuming actual potions from your own inventory yet. That may be something we'll consider doing and adjusting this so that you can use potions, but you have to bring them. But at the moment, we've only tested just the 2 vials you see there, the mana vial and the healing vial, health potion. I guess they're not vials, they're potions, but yeah, mana potion, health potion. So those are there, and kind of that was one of the decisions that we made. It's like when we were balancing everything, we knew that the real experience is going to have potions involved, and rather than like adjusting mana cost down so that you can do more skills, we were realizing it's like, okay, well, you normally would be able to use mana potions, you normally would be able to heal yourself with these, so let's get closer to what the true experience is going to be with this. And so here we go. And there you got our cool barrier animation. So there's a pure barrier on that archer right now. You can see its HP is increased.
And the knight just bled before their turn started because they were hit with the bleed stack.
So he's also taunted, so I can't select any of these small boars. I can only select the big mama boar.
Yeah,
So I
and,
Yeah.
gotta push, but there's no point in pushing it because she's already end. So I'm going to buff my knight.
so when you're taunted, rules about like range and whatnot go away. You can only target what has taunted you, and you can't do any attacks that would have the potential to target anything else. So multi-target attacks get disabled while you're taunted. And so it can be pretty painful, especially depending on what skills you picked if you get taunted. Which, as you saw, the big boar does that by grunting at you.
So as you
Yep.
maybe saw, I used the rapid shot on my archer earlier, and this repeating shot will deal additional damage for each arrow that hits the enemy. So usually it deals like 200-ish, 250 damage, which is now increased to up to 512, which could be enough to kill it, but let's see how lucky we get. This archer is actually pretty strong. Whose was it? Oh, we got it.
Ooh, dang.
That was lucky. Mega's archer, but it was level 14, I think. So that's already quite a bit stronger because those boars are based on level 10 still, so they didn't scale up.
Yep, that's a good point. In the balance testing, we don't have them scaling.
So another thing you see it, he has like this debuff, the taunt debuff, and the bleed debuff, and the priest can actually cleanse a target, which means it's going to remove one of those two debuffs. That's the wrong screen. It's the no. There we go. All right, let's see
You
what I
can
get.
exit the game at any time.
Cleanse. And it cleansed it all, but I wanted to bleed.
Yes, the cleanse is random, and RNGesus is not very nice sometimes.
Yeah.
I will mention that's kind of cool with this match when the big boar taunts you. Then sometimes that can play into your hands a little bit because you get a chance to hit the back row, which we're about to see right now. I think.
I'm getting white
Yeah,
charged.
you got a wild charge coming. We also have quite a few new graphics from our art team. You can see the channeling animation is different from what we have in the testing grounds. Our general goal is to update all of the graphics for all of the skills of these classes. They kind of didn't meet our standard when we got them the first time, so we've been slowly adding in things as we go. But there's still quite a few different visual things that we need to add in. But I've been keeping Beetle way too busy and just adjusting numbers. So
So many numbers. It's like the GIF with the numbers going around my head all day long. You could see there that the barrier blocked the whole attack action, so it just had a barrier negative.
Actually, Starbuck is asking about AoE skills when you're taunted.
let's see, explosion. Which skill is that? Or is that a trait?
That's a trait, but I believe as of right now, taunt will lock them down to just single target attacks. So if you didn't have any that weren't multi-target, it would default you to basic, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Hubert can correct me.
Huh. Yeah, that one's a little bit tricky because you do just target one thing, but then it blows up other things.
Oh,
So that one maybe will allow it. That might be that does fit kind of into an allowable category. Unless we just change how it's worded, and then it won't be allowed anymore. But
Yeah. I think the way it's set up, if it's a single target, it should work. So that should work out of the box.
yeah.
So actually, another thing you can do with potions, sorry, just quickly jumping in, is you can actually use your one hero to use the potion on another hero. It will consume this hero's action, but if I use it on the archer will regenerate the mana.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, Sir Worm pointed out that the potions actually are mana and health vials. So the ones that we call potions are the full health and full mana potions. So I guess we got some words to change a little bit there.
Another mechanic you are seeing is amnesias. For example, the skill has amnesia, which basically means if I use this turn, I won't be able to use it for one more turn with amnesia 1. And they're like skills like Divide Charge, which has amnesia 5. So Big Mama Boar cannot charge for 5 more turns.
Yeah, that'll be very important for you to pay attention to with this fight, because the intent here, Beetle mentioned it. We do have a couple things disabled at the moment, so we're not showing everything. Plus, without the balancing happening as well, that did make that archer much stronger. But the intent with this fight is for it to be quite challenging, and right now with how we have it balanced, it is quite challenging to the point where we're probably needing to tune a few things down at this point. But for a long time, Sasha was just winning every single time with his specific strategy, and it was making me very angry. So I kept changing things to make that strategy not work very well anymore, and I think I succeeded at this point. But
I should have never told you about it.
That's
This
your
came
first
from my bad.
mistake.
But
So yeah, I mean those
yeah.
fights are looking easier than they are actually. So don't be surprised if you win this one. Maybe afterwards I can do one with level 10 heroes and show some different skills.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. You're already
Yeah.
doing a lot better than I ever do, so props.
With his murder archer.
Yes, true. That's right. This is not representative of the final product.
Oh man, you're gonna. Oh, he
Self
recovered.
cleanse, nice.
So yeah, that is a mechanic that I don't think we had working beforehand, but now it is, and it uses a new formula as well. Recover is based on vitality, I believe, and it's just if you have higher vitality, you have a higher chance that it happens. But just at the start of every turn, you have a small chance that you'll heal your status effects or one of your status effects. Um, oh, you killed them all. You did it.
All dead.
That's how easy it is.
Right?
Simple.
This gives such a wrong impression.
No, it's
Wait,
good. We're
let me
setting them
actually
up for disappointment.
let's run around with level 10 heroes, and then we can use community heroes again. I got that's my priest. It's actually not my priest, it's someone's priest. So whoever owns those heroes, I'm sorry, I've been using them a lot these days.
Yeah, like the first knight that's level 10 in like ID order is the one I've been using. It's a Gen 0. And same thing for Archer. It's like I think 118 and then 122 maybe are the two that I keep using. So whoever owns those, thank you.
So let's play a bit taunty. Let's do this. And that's the one. What are we gonna do with Archer? Maybe we can do some
Go with the channeling mode.
channeling. Should I go all channeling? Channeling? Yeah, let's do all. All right, then
Um,
let's play Battle Priest a bit. Spell
I guess
power.
while you're doing that, I do want to mention just like how much has been added from what's in there currently. Just the sheer number of mechanics that weren't there before. Just kind of in the base classes that have been in there previously. So I guess just to say that it's going to be a lot easier to add additional classes now that we have these in place. With all of these mechanics that are pretty well reused throughout the other codexes as well. So just want to throw that out there. This is going to make things a lot simpler going forward. But it's obvious also that we're gonna be balancing a lot as we add the codices just to make sure that things are looking the way we expect them to.
Yeah, during the design of all the codices, we did it in a way where we had a general relative feel about how strong we wanted things to be, but it was all done without like weapons design, armor design, and things like that. So here we have all that actually playing out. It's like, okay, this is way too strong. This methodology is too strong. We need to have multipliers be more on the attack versus like skill damage, or not skill, but stat damage. We still have stat damage, but we had some pretty crazy multipliers, especially on the archer. It was like dex times 6 damage and stuff like that, which was a lot. It was a lot. We also adjusted critical hits, so they only do 50% additional damage instead of 2x. And now we'll have like some skills and some equipment will boost what that multiplier is. So just kind of had to tone that down a little bit. And let's see what other, we've done so many things.
All the formulas.
So Sasha just got interrupted. He was channeling, and wow, they're just killing your
Whoa.
archer.
Okay,
Wow.
Yeah.
maybe that one could use a heal potion.
So he
Yeah.
failed his channel. The baby boar headbutted his channel away. So you gotta be, the channeling abilities do have risk, and you gotta kind of prepare for it. Which I think is hopefully emulating what will happen when people are doing PvP. Is they'll be paying attention to people channeling, being ready to respond to what's happening in different ways. And once PVE, we have to kind of just design it to work a specific way. So I think once people start figuring out the best way to beat these boars, they'll probably continue to use the same strategies and maybe try different combos and different things to just challenge themselves. But with most PVE experiences in a turn-based game, you can usually look up a solution to win, and it will usually work, just because that's how things go. But we do have quite a lot of randomness here. You could get unlucky critical hits, you could miss on something pivotal. So all of that is still very possible.
Heck yeah.
Looking forward to all of that.
No cheating.
What?
Sasha.
I wouldn't. So earlier I
don't
used
know.
cleanse, and this one is purify. So earlier I said it will remove one debuff, but purify will actually remove all debuffs.
Oh yeah,
So be gone, bleed.
that's a new addition. Yeah, the freedom skill now has purify on it. We also changed the tier ones of the priest to, we got rid of one of their skills and turned it into an attack ability instead. So the priest has a little bit more offensive capability now than it did before. Also made a combo off of that with the other attack that it already had, which I think was, what's that called? Holy Wrath or something like that.
Yep. So because I used sharpshooter the round before, my basic attack deals now quite a lot more damage.
Yeah, I guess someone was asking if we expect the battle to flow this smoothly when it comes out. And I think we do, right, Beetle? I don't know how, like, with the way this is set up, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I believe the lag issues should mostly be good to go. But we'll have to do some load testing.
Yeah, I think some of that lag was with like the prediction engine was set up in a way that was inefficient. So that did cause it to take a while sometimes to pop up how much damage.
Right.
So that's resolved.
Yep. Yeah. If there are any issues, we'll up the concurrency on the API to make sure we can support it. I think for the most part it should be good to go. Yeah, probably. It'll look smoother obviously when it's live. It's a little get some stutter on the live stream.
Right.
Yeah, I think some is also due to live stream. Like the actual flow is actually pretty good, I think. No, I missed my cannon
On the
again.
channel. Brutal.
That hurts.
Oh,
This
the
one
boar
looks
was
like it's not
supposed to
going your way,
die.
Sashay. Get the memes ready for the boards.
So this feels more like it's supposed to feel.
Yes,
And
supposed to.
another for one turn I have to kill it.
Kill it quick. Oh, it's gonna be so
Oh, the
close.
damage could be just enough.
Get it.
I'm scared.
Critical luck. Critical luck. Nice.
Oh, nice. Was that right on?
6 over damage, actually.
All right, nice.
Alright, I gotta take care of my knight now.
All right, let's see if you can survive the rest of this. Yeah, there. Let's see. When we have everything enabled, it's harder.
Yeah.
It's harder. So there's things you're not seeing that would have happened already.
Spoiler.
Spoilers. But I think at least for at the stage we're at with this balancing, I feel like we just pushed a bunch of different things yesterday. We need to look at a little bit more today after those changes, because there was one mechanic that wasn't working appropriately, but now it is. I think that kind of changes the entire strategy behind winning this battle. But man, Sasha, did you not get like the anti-daze skill on your knight?
I actually did, but I still got dazed.
Oh, wrecked.
Right? Oh,
RNG gets you every time.
And I think with like push and pull and reposition, we haven't had the time to like add animations to it, so you do see it kind of just like quickly swap positions right now. But that is something we're hoping to do, right, Beetle?
Sorry, I was shit posting. What was it?
Oh, I was just saying that right now it's like the animations, like with push and pull and repositioning. I think that's one thing that we're it might not be in at release, but if not, it be soon.
Yep.
To be added, so it's
Yep.
functional now for sure.
Right. Yeah. A lot of it was getting all the mechanics in to make sure we could get a ton of balance testing, which is what we've been doing. And I've been saving all the goodies for later. So as long as you don't push any new numbers to me, Huber, I'll totally make it look even prettier.
Oh, there's gonna be some more numbers.
Oh no! Oh god!
But
There's
I'm gonna
always
try
numbers.
to now it's going to be focusing on just adjusting the bores so that it just feels a little better. Hopefully that we're mostly done with adjusting the class skills.
Sweet.
Hopefully.
Thank you. Thank you. Please. But no, I think I feel like it is a lot smoother. It feels a lot more fun with
Round
the more
2.
changes we've been making. So
Oh,
props to you, Hubert, for
why I'm getting so
making the
lucky
numbers
this time.
good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun. I did post like a little formula something in general like yesterday or 2 days ago. I think 2 days ago. But that is like when I did the speed formula, I did it all kind of just by hand and for that specific purpose. So I just was calculating things out and then just seeing if the numbers that I came to were correct. But since I decided to basically apply that same approach to 6 different things, I wanted to make my life easier by actually kind of coming up with the generic form of that method. So if anyone saw that little thing and likes to look at math, you can search for my name in Discord and examine that. It probably won't make sense because there's a lot of details about like the initial conditions that are not explained, but there's a bunch of algebra in there, and it does form into a very beautiful equation. As far as I'm concerned, the numbers are ugly, but it's just beautiful how it functions as far as I'm concerned. So, sorry, I'm sure my math nerdiness is not exciting.
I'm getting worried. I hope it doesn't do like the white charges thingy. That would be good.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate
Prince.
the crawlers. So if you guys have any questions about Void Hunt, you can drop them in the voiceless chat. Now is the chance.
Yeah. I'm just enthralled. I'm actually, to be honest, the biggest win for me is that
No.
it's running and
Oh,
it's
you're
not. There's
there's a
no.
wild charge coming.
It hasn't bricked one time. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been really
'Cause-
smooth this week. I think most of those
yeah.
really big bugs.
Yep. Yep. There was a lot of stability stability issues in the original CTG. So that
So
Oh
Starbucks
no.
asking about how toxic works. So I think it's as described. I know that's not very nice to say, but I mean the description is each instance this hero does damage, it has the chance to apply poison. So yeah, any time you hit, it will roll that chance, and if it succeeds and the resistance of the opponent fails to block it, they'll get poisoned. So, and so that does mean like if you do attacks that hit more than once, you'll have more chances of that being applied. And there will be many other instances of things like that. I think we have other skills that have kind of a chance to do things like that as well on some of the classes. And poison is not set up to stack that way. Poison is one of those. So poison is one that it's if you don't deal with it soon, it's going to get really bad. It gets stronger and stronger the more you just let it sit there. Bleed is kind of different, where bleed will run. You'll stop bleeding if you don't like get cut further. But if you keep getting bleeding effects, it'll stack and make the bleed worse and make it last longer too. And that you can see kind of playing out in this battle. Uh-oh.
there's a
Uh-oh.
couple.
Is it
Oh no. There's a
It was
couple
actually pretty
questions
close.
for Hubert, maybe.
Oh,
They're asking if heroes without skills will have a chance. And I think I know the answer, but let
yeah,
Hubert
no.
break the news.
Probably not. I mean, you might be able to have like one
Yeah, I feel
hero
like
without skills and the other two with, and you can maybe succeed.
No.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe-
that's what I experienced too. Like one hero kind of works like a meat shield, but if you plan on using like 3 non-archer knight priest heroes, you're gonna have some problems, I think.
yeah, I don't know how we could possibly have it be a hard fight if it's beatable with just basic attacks. So yeah, I mean the goal with this was to make it more like a boss fight, more where there is a lot of difficulty tied to it. Like when you guys start playing it, you'll probably fail more often than not until you figure out a good strategy. And hopefully that's an enjoyable experience. At least for me, I don't know with other people, but for me, I think the first time you get to experience something and like solve the puzzle is like the most fun of it, and then you get that great adrenaline rush when you finally win and everything else. And I hope that's what happens for everybody here. And I'm sure once people start winning, they'll start talking about their strategies and whatnot, and people will win more and more after that point. But trying to hide strategy behind all this damage and whatnot, so that you won't have a perfect solution right away.
So
Yeah,
actually,
I assume there'll be some strats that will be forthcoming after it releases.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some guides and things.
Mega asked if there's any items to be collected if you lose. Losing will give you XP if you decide to just end the fight. You'll have the choice to like restart the fight for a reduced fee and with no changes in the conditions. So you use the same skills and the same heroes. And so you could just retry over and over again if you want. But if you want to like adjust your skills or use different heroes, then I think you could. Let's see, can you do that, Beetle? I can't remember. Do we have it set up so that they could just start a different team while the other one's still going? Or no?
Are you talking about like 2 boar hunts at the
Yeah,
same time? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they could. You could have pending ones,
Okay.
multiple pending hunts. Yep, for sure.
So I guess you could just decide if you want to retry on that, or maybe try with a different team and a different strategy, and see if you like that before deciding to retry with another one. But once you've decided to accept your result, and the result you get is just whatever the final result was, so you won't be able to just like go in and lose and get XP and just repeat that and farm XP. It'll only give you XP like if you fail and then you exit, then you'll get that failure XP and then you can try again. But if you succeed, yeah, then you'll have chances for rewards. And
Did you mention that there's a time limit on the retry? I think right now is 5 minutes or something.
oh, I did not mention
did
that.
you?
So yeah, I
Yeah.
guess actually, yeah, you won't really be able to just sit there in like retry mode. So
Yeah, what you could do is you could retry it and then not play right away. Like you could pay to retry or whatever, and then not finish the battle right away. So yeah, the only time limit is just from failing to being able to retry.
okay. Yeah, I missed the announcement from Bolon and Dreamer and whatnot. I think they revealed some things, right? I was way too deep in the numbers to see it. But did they? I don't want to say things until I know. But
What was the question?
So someone was asking what the 2 mystery boxes were, and I'm not gonna say what they are, but I assume that means they know what the other 3 things are. But
It's a good question. I didn't catch it either.
but maybe they don't, so I won't say anything until I know. So, but yeah,
Smart.
So yeah, pets. we haven't implemented combat bonuses for pets yet, but they will provide their just generic XP bonus, so you can get more XP out of the fight by having a fed pet equipped. Not like the profession XP bonus specific one, but the one where you get based on its rarity. So if you have like a mythic pet equipped, it's like a 20% increase in the XP that you get. And then the quick study power up will also give you 15% extra experience as well. So, void shards. So yes, with void shards, initially those are going to not have a function right away. Not unless like when this is released, we won't have void shards being used, but they are also account bound. They're soul bound, so I think it's in your best interest to collect them. They will be used to trade in some number of void shards to be able to do specific fights, and the only way to do those fights will be to use void shards, and those will have their own loot tables and potentially unique loot that is only available through doing those. So this is our way of rewarding gameplay, where only those that do the things that will get them void shards will really be able to participate in those battles and collect that loot. And yes, Kupo, it was completely and utterly inspired by that Beastman seals from Final Fantasy XI. That was where that idea came from for sure. So, yep. So, for those that have played Final Fantasy XI and know what it's like to get Beastman seals every once in a while, and then finally collect enough to go bypass the hard effort, or at least it was hard back in the day to get the items that you need for a black belt. It's kind of like that. So, and yes, void shards are not what's in the box.
True. Void shards have been taken out of the box.
But yeah, are there any other questions? I feel like we've shown so much.
Right.
This has been alpha, super alpha.
All the alphas.
People are asking, I think, about the relative XP to questing, and also what the approximate difference between winning and losing XP would be.
It's like 7 times more XP in winning than losing, I think, or somewhere close to that. Maybe 6 times. But yeah, it's quite a bit more on the winning side. Plus, there's other rewards you can get as well. And then if you have those multipliers on experience, will just give you even more, right? On top of that, so with the multipliers, it's quite a bit more that you can get. I think actually maybe it's like closer to 5 times, but I don't remember the number off the top of my head for the losing side. I know what it is on the winning side. But it's definitely more than what you can get for the same amount of stamina from doing any of the profession quests, unless you were to get like extremely lucky and get all the item, like succeed every time for all the items that give you a lot of experience. Then I think in some cases you might be able to get a lucky thing on there. But yeah, so that should be how it will be. And I think once people do kind of get to the point where they have a good strategy and can win most of the time, it'll be a good source of leveling up your heroes that I guess are able to participate in the fight. It is kind of unfortunate that it's taking us that we have so many classes that aren't programmed yet. So knights, archers, and priests are going to have a bit of a fun time on their own for a little while, but we're hoping to have warrior. Did I spoil that? Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Warrior. I spoiled it.
Hey, it's been spoiled. We didn't say what about warriors. They're eventually going to be in the game too.
They
It's
are
crazy.
We have other ones that we're also planning to, like, we have like 3 lined up as like our next ones to do, and really, I think this effort has made it like, so getting those in is probably not going to be nearly as slow as this, but like, famous last words, perhaps. We still need to balance everything.
Yeah, there's no way it will be as slow as these. We will.
Yeah.
It should be much easier.
Right. Yeah. I mean, most of the systems are now in a place where I feel comfortable. So, like, a lot of it is just adjusting the core system or all of the different things. Um, with a new class, it's like, okay, does it have any new mechanic that we haven't added already? And if so, then that needs to be programmed. But if not, then it's just like repeating the same code with different numbers, pretty much. So, um, yeah. And let's see. As far as like, there was a question about like targeted win percent chance. I think that's kind of it's at the beginning. I think the win percent is going to be low because nobody has, no one has a clear strategy yet. They don't understand how everything works all the way yet, and so it's going to be very hard. But I do think, as I mentioned earlier, it's once you have a good strategy in place, and you could likely continue to use that and have pretty good success, and it'll be more based on just being unlucky that you would lose, I would think. Um, and that's just kind of how it always is, I think, with any turn-based combat thing. Like once you have the strategy for it, unless we like had it so they had random skills and it kind of changed that way. Which, if we did that, I mean, it'll, I don't know, give us another month before we release it. I don't think anyone wants that. So, yeah, I think the win percent will go up quite a bit once people do have good strategies in place.
All right. 3 Boars really wants me to ask about Moksha ruins dropping.
They do drop. Yay!
Woo, woo.
There will not be any Shavas runes dropping from this. It will just be the Moksha runes, and they do drop at a much higher rate than they do from other quests. Sometimes you might even get more than one. But yeah, I think just reiterating on some of the other restrictions that will be on here. Every hero can only win once per 24 hours, so it won't be like super farmable like the profession quests are right now. So I think there will still be a limitation on like how much goes in, but the people that are playing it will be the ones that are getting rewarded. So I think that that's been something that I've been hoping to get into place, for a long time. Having something that's just the profession quests are nice for farming, but they're also very simple and don't require much thought to do. And we're even coming with expedition soon, so that you could just set that to kind of happen autonomously for the most part. So, but for combat, hopefully people will be enjoying it and coming here. Are you gonna win this time, Sashay? Looks like you might.
Looking good.
Uh-oh. But look at all that barrier, though. You're all barriered out. You'll survive.
Yeah, we know we've been doing a good job when Sashay starts complaining about dying too much. That's when we know we're on the right track.
Let's see. So, Swindu asked if. Hope you guys didn't hear that background sound just now, but let's see. If the rarity and the combat ability is deeper, or if it's just bigger stats than average. The With the way heroes grow, with the luck of leveling up and different rarities and different ranks of classes having better growth, really the focus here has been to make stats matter and make it feel like it matters. And one thing that, with how it was initially set up with our formulas was it kind of didn't feel like it mattered that much to have like a mythic versus a common, just because like everything grew linearly and it was designed, from level 1 to 100. So like once you got to 100, it'd be great, but at low levels it wouldn't. But with all the adjustments to the formula now, um, if you have high stats for your level, then it'll feel much more impactful than it did before. So yeah, mythic heroes will have a better time at it. They'll be able to do more damage. They, probably will have higher agility, so they'll go faster. They'll dodge more. So all of that I think is in a much better feeling place. But there's nothing where it's like if you have a mythic, you have a new skill that no one else has access to. All the heroes will function the same. It's just their stats will feel like they're more impactful than before. And yeah, if you do have a very unlucky hero that just got really bad level ups for the whole time, it's probably going to have a very, very hard time winning.
You gotta
And
notice.
may be worth just going fishing instead for that hero. Yeah, it might be one for the pit, but
Oh, is the priest gonna finish it?
That would be epic.
Ah,
Ooh, so close.
and then the archer gonna do it.
nice.
Alright.
You did it.
We're almost at an hour, so we're gonna leave the fights with that.
Okay. Well, great. Well, thanks everybody who came and watched. And I I'm really excited for this. I feel like we're getting. Oh, I wait. I shouldn't say excited. I am agog for this, and I feel like we're getting very, very close. I feel like I kind of had a famous last words moment when we first announced Void Hunts when I said it was a matter of weeks instead of months. I'll just say that there were, at the time, we didn't realize how many mechanics were not finished when when I said that. But then we got a lot deeper into things. It's like, oh, this isn't working right. This isn't, and so we had to fix it all. But it's all working now, and it's all smooth and great. So appreciate all of your patience for this. I think it'll be a fun time for everybody once we have it out, and I really don't think it's that far away at this point.
There's one last question by Ibla about the rewards. Are they gonna be dropped directly, or do we have to claim them?
I can answer that one.
Do it.
Yay! I have purpose. So yeah, the way we ended up doing it is essentially you'll claim them at the end of the match. So that's when you're deciding, like, if you fail, you can go ahead and claim your failed rewards, which would just be XP at that point. Or if you succeeded, then you would claim your successful rewards and essentially get like a quest reward modal that will tell you what you got and how much XP you got. So very similar to questing, you kind of wanted to just go along with a paradigm that people are familiar with, and it seems to work out pretty well.
Wow, people are dissing my combat skills. Hey, I won 2 out of 3 battles, right? Wasn't
Oh
that
yeah.
bad. Yeah, I mean, you guys can actually look forward to it. It's really, I really love it. So I think we're getting in a good spot. And yeah, as you can see, it's already pretty polished. I mean, we still gotta do the equipment stuff and the whole equipment flow and everything. So keep an eye out for that Google sheet, which was dropped in announcement
Yep.
like a month ago or so.
It's been a
But we're
minute.
getting closer.
Yeah, we're getting closer. I will say that I also last night added the challenge weapon bonuses. Hubert, I don't know if you even knew that, but
I think
so now
saw.
some of them will daze, some of them will bleed. There run a ton on that. But once we have maybe the
Spoilers.
equipment, the spoilers of equipment coming. Oh, I didn't know
Well,
that was a spoiler.
that's
Anyway,
some
my
alpha.
bad.
That's all sorts of alpha. Well, that's all right.
Well,
We're getting
yeah.
really close, and I'm sure everyone's been very parched on alpha, so that's all right. The challenge weapons are better than the default weapons we're giving you. They have bonuses on them, and those bonuses do vary in their strength. So you can get lucky and get a really well. They're all good, but some will be better than others. There is variance in how they are set up.
Thank you, Hubert,
Yes.
for taking the rest of the alpha hit.
It's cool. But that's exciting because I think that was kind of like the last piece was getting the equipment bonuses to apply. And I think also just our equipment flow and all that stuff. I think is still a little bit more work to go on that.
Yep.
But we're getting pretty close to having everything dialed in on the numbers front. I think our scaling needs to be adjusted a bit more for scaling up to level 20. But I think otherwise, hoping to not adjust any more hero skills if possible, and it's more about just adjusting the boars a little bit to make it work better. So
Which is also a good reminder. So anything you saw today is still subject to change.
yeah,
So don't do any like buying decisions or anything based on what you saw and then complain that we change it later because it is all subject to change. I'm gonna say one more time.
yep. Once we have a PvP thing out, we might adjust things again across the board as we realize that these boars were too hard and we made all the heroes too strong. So then they're fighting other heroes, they just kill them all. And so um, if that's the case, we'll just have to adjust things down, and then future void hunts will just be adjusted to that paradigm. So yeah, alrighty.
All right, we got our full hour. Actually, we only planned like 30 minutes, but you guys had a lot of good questions, so thank you for that.
Yep,
Any last words, Hubert, Winston, Beto?
I've said a lot. Bullish.
All right,
Yeah.
bullish
Yeah.
and
Appreciate the patience, everybody, and hopefully you can see that we're working hard and making things great. So bullish as well.
bullish. Thanks, guys.
See
Thanks,
y'all.
everybody. Peace.